everybody, and welcome in to another episode of Snaps. Hopefully, your favorite daily college football podcast. I am T-Bob Hebert, one of your hosts, joined as always by a man who, his entire life seems to be intertwining here in terms of where his football career took him. In fact, it's something we're going to talk about on today's show. Of course, I'm talking about former Georgia great, SEC QB1, also former Philadelphia Eagle, Mr. Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, dude?
Nothing much, man. Just dealing with a 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old who's puking and pooping all over the house, which has been just a great past 4 days. Nothing like watching the NFL draft and all the other stuff that goes on being a father. But no, it had me thinking as this intro, you get going with Philly and the Bulldogs. What fan base do you not want obnoxiously barking nonstop? Philadelphia Eagles have to be the worst fan base ever to now be given the permission to bark nonstop because of the amount of Georgia football players on their roster. Just imagine that. Philly fans just barking.
But here's the thing, though.
Combination.
I don't have to imagine it. Because, didn't it just happen a couple of years ago? Did Chris Long tell the future? The year that they won the Super Bowl, weren't they all wearing dog masks for some reason? And they were just barking constantly?
Yes, because they thought they were the underdogs and took the literal dogs.
Yes, they loved them barking dogs.
How about this? They went from being underdogs to Ugga dogs, as now they are just full of UGA Bulldogs. Andy J says, T-Bob, I hate it hearing your Gen Z take rather than old man take on fans running on the field. I think it's important to keep college football a different sport in the NFL. I know. Look, I think the old man takes actually stop running on the field. I think the Gen Z take do run on the field. But no, look, I think it's dangerous, right? Chris H. Philadelphia building a team to lure Kirby to the NFL. Ooh, Chris, I like that. We could only hope that Kirby would eventually go try. I mean, come on. What do you have left to prove in college, Kirby? I mean, how about you do it with the big dogs? How about you do it with the big? How about you show that you're actually a good football coach? I don't know if you're actually a good football coach from winning college football national championships. All I know is you're a good recruiter. Okay, you're a good recruiter. You're a good manager. I don't know if you know X's and O's. So if you want to prove to be better than Nick Saban, you're not going to do it by winning college football national championships. There's always going to be debate. Okay, look at LeBron. Look at MJ. There's always going to be debate. If you want to prove you're better than Nick Saban, go to the NFL, win a Super Bowl. Okay, Kirby, your career is a failure until you lift that Lombardi. That's all I'm saying. Chris said it first, and I'm backing him up here. Wilk says the only way Eagles could be better is to put Aaron Murray on the roster. Fuck out of here. This dude's washed up.
I got the jersey on the wall. Philly, I'm ready to go. I am a little washed up, but it's... I mean, Jalen's running quarterback, man. He needs a backup. Let's go.
I know, dude. They don't have Gardner Minshew anymore. Okay, I'll say this. You spent your weekend watching, before we get into the show itself, you spent your weekend watching a literal shit show with your son and watching the NFL draft. I spent my weekend, had a little getaway. We left the kids with some other kids in Monroe, and me and a couple other couples went to Oaklawn in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Do you know what Oaklawn is, Aaron?
No, I thought you were about to say you went to the T-Swift concert. I was really getting excited for this. Oh,
Nope. Oaklawn, that's where they run the ponies. And my God, dude. If you have never gone and gambled away a day at the horse races, there's just not a more fun form of gambling. I mean, it is addicting. And it's not just because the high highs and low lows and all that, but all that's super fun. What the main thing is, Aaron, it is you feel like you have agency. Is it an illusion? Absolutely. I'm not a horse racing guy. I have never even thought about horses before that morning. But the entire day, I'm locked in. We're looking at our pamphlets. We're looking at the recent results. We're talking it out. We're putting together. And for 8 to 10 hours straight, just sitting there, drinking, betting, laughing, cutting up. And the whole time, you feel like you're doing stuff. I cannot recommend it enough. As always, gamble responsibly. But if you ever have the opportunity, we brought in 400 for 500, and I think we lost basically all of it. We left 100. So, I mean, hey, but it was awesome, dude.
Though. Responsible though. You set your limit and you're done. Yeah.
Yes, we budgeted out 10 races, $40 a race, and we were up, and then we tried to go ham on the last race, and we basically pissed away the day. But that's it though. That's the fun, man. Yeah, I don't know. So all I'm saying is I had like a pure Americana weekend, went to the horse races that day. I watched a little high school baseball, little playoff high school baseball, beautiful spring evening at one of my buddies' big schools up there in Louisiana. So a couple slices of Americana, little apple pie for your boy this weekend. But my God, I am going to Oaklawn once a year, guaranteed from now on. Also, Hot Springs, Arkansas, little hidden jewel of the South, dude. Incredible architecture, great culture, great vibes. And you can tell that it's somewhere back in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, where like really rich people used to go and just do really rich people shit. It was just a great time. Shout out Oaklawn, shout out Hot Springs, dude.
Snap's trip to why am I drawing a blank right now?
Yes. Oaklawn. Or look, to be fair, there's the fairgrounds in New Orleans as well.
The big race.
Oh,
the big
Kentucky
race.
Derby.
Kentucky Derby, baby. Why did I draw a blank there? But Snap's trip to Kentucky Derby. Come on, Colin. Come on, Colin. Make us a couple calls for your boys.
That's going down this weekend. I don't know if we're going to be
next year.
Yeah, Trent Ritchie says that's fun gambling. That's a no harm, no foul kind of day. If you keep going to the ATM and lose half your money, that's not how it's done. I agree. Also, I would say probably don't go to the casino that's immediately attached to the racetrack either. You know, you did your gambling. There's no need to go to the casino. You did your gambling. You have fun. Yeah. Go look at Hot Springs. It's like really cool places to go eat. Go do that. That's something that we will not be doing next year. Probably is heading immediately to the casino afterwards. But shout out to Hot Springs, Arkansas, dude. I fell in love with you a little bit this weekend. You're just fantastic. Mwah. All right. Now let's dive into the main topic of the day. Are they the Philadelphia Bulldogs? Are they the Georgia Eagles? Red and black, green and black. All of Aaron Murray's dreams are coming true, as it wasn't not content with getting Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean last year. The Philadelphia Eagles use a New Orleans Saints pick to trade up and get Jalen Carter, maybe the best player in the entire draft. Yeah. They get Nolan Smith at the end of the first round with their second first-round pick, who, again, without a torn pec, is a guaranteed top 10 pick likely. So 2 top 10 players in the draft right there. And then, not satisfied still yet, they trade up in the 4th round to go ahead and get quarterback Kelee Ringo, who there's some foibles there, but the upside is really big as well, right, Aaron? Yep. I mean,
and don't forget they traded for DeAndre Swift also in the draft.
Yes. Oh my God, that's right. The only thing I've kind of written DeAndre Swift off because he just can't stay healthy, but we'll see. Maybe now in a more Georgia environment,
stay healthy.
We'll be able to. But I mean, Aaron,
He's from Philly.
This is absurd on 2 levels. First off, it's a higher concentration in a shorter time than I can really remember seeing ever in recent memory. But beyond that, Philadelphia already felt like a championship team, and it feels like they maybe had the first round of any team in the NFL, and it's all your loves. It's your former NFL and college team. How are you feeling this Monday?
Dude, I feel pretty damn good. I actually have family that lives in Philly, and they were texting me, jumping up and down, going crazy all weekend with the picks. You said it, though, T. Getting Jalen at 9 may go down as one of the best picks of all time for Howie Roseman, who has just been a magician with this roster and putting it together. I mean, it was already a stacked roster. Now you get the guy who I believe was the best pick in the NFL draft at number 9. I love the Falcons picking, who they picked at 8. I know there's a lot of people upset about, why are you picking a running back? I think Bijan, you had some good running back play last year. Why are you picking Bijan? I get that. I like Bijan. I felt like actually he was going to drop to Philadelphia at 10 and go there. So first off, shame on you, Falcons, for not picking Jalen right in your own backyard at number 8. But Philly has to just be sitting there at 9 saying, oh my God, we got Jalen Carter to go on this defensive line with already a stacked defensive line to be an absolute terror, and then Nolan on the outside too. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, what Howie Roseman has done puts him into the Hall of Fame.
My bad, but I just wanted to add this in for some context. They get him in a year in which they lose Hargrave, right? Who was just like an all-pro. They don't want to pay him. They let him go. Okay, well, now you're replacing with another guy who looks like he could be an all-pro in a couple of years.
all pro. I mean, defensive rookie of the year next year. I mean, everything you possibly want. So, and you put him into, we always talk about heading into the draft, the off the field issues with Jalen. Like that was the big worry. And that's the reason why he dropped from potential top 2-3 pick in the NFL draft to number 9 is there was all the stuff off the field that people were worried about. You put him now in a spot that he is familiar with. He's with his boys. He's with guys that have been there now for a year, that know their way around Philadelphia, that can essentially bring him under their wing. He's not going to a spot, which is always the hard spot for rookies. You go to a spot where you don't know anyone. So maybe you kind of, do your own thing. You maybe not the best person on off, whatever. Not saying he wasn't going to be like that. Just saying, like, it's hard. You're in a new spot with new friends. You got to make new friends, new day of school. Now you go to a spot where you're with 5 of your boys. So like, you're not going to dinner alone. You don't have to live alone. You can say, hey, Keely, hey, Nolan, hey, whoever, where should I live? Let's go to dinner. You want to come over and play video games? Like, you're with your boys. So less opportunity now in Philadelphia's mind, I'm sure, of him really being, maybe an issue off the field. Plus, I know if you watch the games, you see a big, giant guy on the Eagles sidelines. He's always around. Dude is like runs Philadelphia. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but runs Philadelphia. He will be all over Jalen, making sure that he stays out of trouble through the streets of brotherly love. So great spot for him for multiple reasons.
Yeah, I've heard about this guy. He's like some big security guy or something.
Yes.
He's like very well connected in the city. Why do you say Philadelphia?
Dom. His name's Dom.
Okay, why do you say Philadelphia though? Is that a Dom thing? Like
Philadelphia?
Yeah. Everybody says Delphia, and you said it the entire time. I didn't know if you could. If like the entire time, this is the first time I've ever mentioned it.
Was it really bugging you?
No. It's just a curious. It's curious.
You've hit it like 4 times in the last 5 minutes, so it is more noticeable. I think.
But I've heard it every time.
What am I saying? Philadelphia or Philadelphia? Is it Philadelphia?
No. You're saying Dolphia like Dolph Lundgren, and most people pronounce it Delphia like the Oracle of Delphi. So just I didn't know if it was like a specific like. Sometimes I'll say things
go with Trent Ritchie in the chat. I was gonna say Philly.
Yeah. No, look, it's one of those things where like sometimes I start saying things wrong as a bit, but then it accidentally becomes real. I didn't know if there's a story behind it. Yeah, you stick with your Philadelphia, Aaron. I'm not trying to shit on your good time. Wilk says, would it be a sin if I swap my fandom from the Falcons to the Eagles? I've seen a lot of this with that 2019 LSU team, in that there is so much Cincinnati Bengal gear now in South Louisiana due to the Joe Burrow effect. However, the key difference is obviously Saints Bengals, NFC, AFC, not really that much of a threat. I think you can certainly cheer for the Eagles when they're not playing the Falcons, but recognize that ultimately that new team you're cheering for will stand in your team's way of doing what it actually wants to. So, no, but look, if they're not going to head up, then absolutely. Why wouldn't you cheer a bit for the Eagles? And it's all of your favorite players that you watch the past few years playing still balling out now on Sunday.
Just throw another bone for Georgia, too, which is wild. I think I saw this over the weekend as well. Every defensive player on the Georgia starting roster from 2021 has been drafted in the past 2 years. Just tells you how good that defense was. Every starter on that defense has been drafted in 2 years.
What? Actually, it's pretty ridiculous to look back on. I can't remember the exact tweaks. I forgot to save it, but there's some stats out there on the 2019 SEC championship game where you look at the LSU and the Georgia rosters, which I know was not a good game, but the amount of players that have been top round picks and gone to the NFL, there was a ludicrous amount of talent on that field. All right, let's throw a little bone to our boy out west. Clint Moses says, "Go Beavs!" Shout out Oregon State, going to be a huge year for the Beavers. He says, "Seahawks." Is that McIntosh guy any good?
Kenny, I think Kenny's great. Kenny's a new age running back. I think he's tremendous out of the backfield. A little bit his big question was his physicality. I mean, that was something that drove Kirby and the staff crazy was, and all the running backs start the season was, you get touched, you go down. But versatility wise, he's great. You just got to continue, put him through, what the running backs go through that gauntlet where the things are and you kind of run through them. He just needs a little bit more of that. Stay on your damn feet, run through contact, he'll be fine. But being able to move him around, which is why the first two running backs in the draft went where they did, is because I talk about chess pieces. They're like chess pieces. You can put them in the slot. You can obviously give them little flares out of the backfield. You can run them from the dot behind the quarterback or in from the gun. You can do a lot of things with him. Kenny's like that. Just got to continue to build that physicality when it comes to this mindset.
How about this, Aaron? I've seen many Eagles fans asking when the appropriate time to bark in public is. Do you have any advice? How are just always? It's just
whenever you Georgia
fans
whenever you
just
feel the urge.
You Georgia fans just walk through everyday life just barking at each other.
Yeah. I usually, if someone gives me like a go dogs, I give them the go dogs. Woo-hoo. Yeah, it's like a little extra response back.
No. I mean, I know you do it because that sounded so natural. Like it's such a practice of. Wow, man! All right, Philly, welcome.
The real thing that happened to it wasn't the tone; it was the rhythm he had.
Yes, it was like a perfect rhythm. I can't even accomplish it. A little staccato in there.
Who's more excited about this, T-Bob? Are Philly fans more excited, or Georgia fans more excited about this?
No. Let's be clear. Philly fans are more excited. Philly fans are more excited because they got 2 top 10 players in the first round of the draft. The team that just went to the Super Bowl,
pretty damn good too.
Barely lost the Super Bowl, got 2 players that were at least, based on consensus opinion, were underdrafted. Like it's the ultimate rich get richer sort of scenario. It's just absolutely ridiculous. If you're Philadelphia Eagles fans, you got to be on cloud 9, and then you got Jalen Hurts out here who, like, right after he gets paid is, putting out these incredible quotes like, money's nice, but championships are better, and just looking cool as hell while he's doing it. It's, man, good time. It is a good time to be a Philadelphia Eagle. One last thing on this before we move on. Do we see the Alabama problem rear its ugly head? And this is something I've talked about for a long time now with Tide players, where you could have some guys who could even win Heismans in college only to flame out miserably in the NFL. How does that happen? Because you have a situation where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right? Where, when you put all of these players on the field, on a college field at the same time, of course they're all going to look incredible. Because guess what? If I'm rushing off the edge, Jalen Carter's got the fucking guard planted in the quarterback's lap, right? If I'm set to bit of drop back, my offensive line, I'm not getting touched. I've got weapons like every time these Georgia Bulldogs entered a college game, they were markedly better than the other team. Maybe save for 2 games in their career, 3 games in their career.
Yeah.
What happens to all these guys? Because I don't care. Like, the Eagles are a good NFL team. They're not markedly better than the worst NFL team. It's still like you could still get got any day. We all know this, right? Like, So what happens when all these guys get on a even playing field?
We're about to find out. I mean, I could say all I want, that I have confidence that these players who, I've seen play at a really high level and a really good defense are just going to, roll over, and all of a sudden the Philadelphia Eagles will continue to be an elite team and, win the NFC and be competing for a Super Bowl next year. Like, I feel like that, but there is a sense of like, you got to prove it, man. Like, you got to prove that you can leave Georgia, a team that has, for many reasons. One, they are more talented than anyone else. So, like, let's start that first. Are more talented, have played a cupcake schedule for 2 years now. So have been able to dominate their competition on their way to back-to-back national championships, have the best resources, have the best coaching staff. I mean, everything is laid out perfectly for you there at Georgia. I mean, you go back to look at the combine. Nolan Smith jumped on the combine and was talking about all the benefits and essentially telling all the recruits, like, you'd be crazy not to be a Bulldog. They have everything. And once again, they have another easy schedule this year. I'm not going to get into that, but you have been put into a position to excel at Georgia because of the 5 stars, the coaching, the resources, and the schedule. Now, all of a sudden, you are on a more even playing field. Most NFL games come down to, 3 to 7 points. It's all relatively close. You're playing against the best guys in the world. Can you continue to play at a high level there? Or are you going to be hit in the mouth and be like, oh God, like this is real football now. Like, this is what competition is about. And how do you respond? That's to be determined. But when you talk about the physical traits that all these guys have, yes, they have all been from Pee-wee football through middle school, through high school, through college, they have been the best because they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're quicker, they're just more gifted. Now it's just being that dude at the next level.
Yeah. But like you said, it probably, because like there's always these environmental effects that go into play when determining whether a guy makes it or not. And landing in Philly with your boys is probably actually a pretty damn good environment, especially with the confidence
why they
displayed by
want
the
him, though?
coaching staff and everything else. Because they have championship pedigree, they know they can trust him. Like they tasted the Georgia waters last year, and they were like, "Oh shit, we like this. We want him. We want more of this."
And I also think, how he went to Georgia practice and kind of looks at Georgia and says, damn, like these dudes know how to practice like professionals, the way Kirby runs it. And I'm not saying like not every other team doesn't do this. Nick does it there, but every team may want to practice hard, may want to go good on good, but they don't have the depth to do it. Georgia and Alabama, I mean, LSU is trying to work there right now with adding some more depth to the roster, but they can go good on good the entire season and get better every single day of the week in practice, where other teams may not, because of attrition of the roster, be able to compete at a high level during the week to be able to go on Saturdays. Georgia can do that. They can do it in the spring. They can do it in the fall. So if you're a gym, you go watch them, like, damn, these dudes know what it takes to compete at a high level, not just on Saturdays, but the entire damn week of practice. And I think that is something that is built into you, how to be a guy that handles your shit Monday through Friday in order to perform at a high level come weekend time.
What's so funny about my experience going from college to NFL practices was that the NFL practice from a skill standpoint, because like the players were just better, but from a physicality standpoint, it wasn't even fucking close. I felt like I was at some sort of day spa compared to Les Miles, 3 hours, full pads. Repeat it. God damn it. Just constantly fucking, we gotta run 46 power again because somebody didn't block down or some bullshit. Oh, dude, I got the NFL. I was like, what? It's like 2 hours? Like in and out. What? We're done? Oh shit. Okay.
Practice like a pro though. You got to practice like a pro. You grind and you get the hell out of there.
All right. Let's.
Well, they're pro ready. They're pro ready. There's not, which is good and bad. There's not a lot left for you to have to teach those guys. Like they are day one. You know your shit. Let's go.
By the way, I just want to once again point out how much of a better coach Brian Kelly is than Nick Saban. In that, you can say, oh, but T-Bob, what about all the head-to-heads at Notre Dame and Alabama? Okay, that is what it is. But look at this. I mean, LSU had what? 6 draft picks this year, 1 in the top 3 rounds. Alabama had 10 draft picks with 8 in the top 3 rounds, including 3 first rounders. Like, oh no, bro, get the hell out of here. To me, that feels like an LSU team. Like an LSU team that had way less talent and yet still beat that Crimson Tide ass in Baton Rouge. Nick Saban continues to fall off. You hate to see it. Hate to see it. Speaking of falling off, there's another former Saban disciple that appears to be in trouble. But what you got, Aaron?
No, I was going to answer a question in the chat. Chance Babin, hashtag ask Aaron, thoughts on the quarterback Haener out of Fresno.
Now a New Orleans Saint.
Okay. Now a New Orleans Saints. I know T-Bob will have to dive into the film and get a little bit more into this. He's good. I don't anticipate him ever being a starting quarterback. Maybe I just had the unfortunate time of I've covered him 3 times in his career, and every single time I covered him, did not play that well. So yeah, I'm very fortunate for him. So I just don't have a really good taste in my mouth of him as a quarterback. So
Haener left a bad taste in your mouth. I feel you. But look,
Haener left a real bad taste in my mouth.
He obviously left a pretty good taste in the Saints' mouth. Also, like tomorrow, we're doing an episode on Stetson going to LA and re-teaming up with Stafford. How come we're not talking about the Fresno connection in the Crescent City, okay? Why is Derek Carr and Jake Haener not dominating the headlines right now? Fresnola.
No one
How about
cares
that?
About Haener.
Fresnola. I like Fresnola. I'm very proud of Fresnola. That just came off the dome right there. Georgia Delphia Bird Dogs is so stupid, Jimbo sliced bread, but I kind of love it. Georgia Delphia Bird Dogs. Okay, so like I said, though, another Nick Saban disciple in trouble. Yesterday it comes out that Michigan State is losing another couple players to transfer portal. And it's not just losing a couple guys, but it's who they're losing. They're losing their starting quarterback, Peyton Thorne, who, remember, much was made of his rise in that great year 2 years ago with Kenneth Walker and how they brought in a transfer to challenge him. He still ended up winning the job. It seemed like Michigan State and Peyton Thorne were set to have a great relationship for years to come. What makes it even worse, they lose their number one wide receiver, Keon Coleman, to the portal as well. And all of a sudden, you're looking at, let's just look at Mel Tucker's 3 years at Michigan State, 2-5. Then he was ahead of the curve of the portal, incredible 11-2 season, 5-7 last year. And now, coming off of a 5-7 year, you lose your starting quarterback and your best wide receiver, and your head coach makes $9.5 million a year. Aaron, this feels like big trouble in East Lansing.
Oh, it's huge trouble. Are you kidding me? Losing your starting quarterback and receiver. They also have a cornerback. They've just been gutted in the portal this offseason. And, first off, good for you. He got his big payday. So, regardless of what happens, he's going to live a very, very good life. But there is a sense of being a competitor as a coach, and you want to go out there and put a great product on the field. If I'm a Sparty fan right now, I'm kind of sitting back like, what the hell is going on? We are at a high of high 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, we go for a 5-7 season, and now we're going to have to be breaking in a bunch of primetime spots on our offense. Doesn't look like it's going to be, happy sailings this season with once again a pretty tough schedule ahead of him. So he ain't getting fired. We know that the contract is way too big, but he's got to get things going. I mean, he's a guy that obviously has had success in the past through the transfer portal. It's open right now. He's going to have to do some hella selling to get guys there to East Lansing.
I mean, I wonder if he's not going to get fired. I feel you. It would be absurd almost on a Texas A&M level, but East Lansing loves their football. I mean, the facilities are incredible. The buy-in from the fans and the economic support is incredible. And Mel Tucker has failed mightily. And I think there's a couple things to point out here. First off, this is the ultimate, the same way that we discussed the concept of, look, live by the portal, die by the portal from the player perspective with Colorado, right? Right. Okay. The portal is great for a lot of players. It allows you to find playing time where you win. It allows you to get into better situations. But also, if you are part of a bad team, it can imperil your scholarship and it can make you have to go find your fortune elsewhere. Well, this is live by the portal, die by the portal coaching edition, because nobody was more ahead of the curve than Mel Tucker when it came to what the transfer portal represented. He was able to climb that chaos like a ladder with Kenneth Walker, who he probably owes money to get to 11-2, but now he is suffering in the same way in which he once gained. And I'll say this, man, Mel Tucker's attitude, like his coaching style, is very tough to make work nowadays. The whole fuck you to death attitude, it just really doesn't seem to resonate as much with these younger guys. Now, maybe if you're one of these older coaches and you have the skins on the wall where like Nick Saban could still act like that, even though interestingly he kind of doesn't, right? He has softened mightily as we've seen, but he could still be that fuck you, my way or the highway type of guy if he wanted to, because he can point to his rings and the banners and everything. If Mel Tucker's motherfucking me, but I don't believe that Mel Tucker's a good coach, what do? I roll my eyes, right? I roll my eye. If you don't respect the man who is yelling at you, then you don't care. You roll your eyes whatever, dude. You don't know the fuck you're talking about. And it feels like there's a lot of that going on right now in East Lansing.
Oh, it does. You said it. I mean, there's only certain coaches that can go out there and yell at you because they've proven okay, I will suck it up for 2 or 3 years because this dude has proven that I can win individual awards, win championships, and go to the NFL. So you're kind of man, let me just take my verbal abuse and grind through practice, knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel. There really has not been proven that there's light at the end of the tunnel if he's your head coach. So yeah, you got to change. You got to adapt. It's a new world. And I'm not going to go on a soapbox because you make fun of me. God bless you, T-Bob, as he sneezes a couple times. Allergies, man.
Well, I muted my mic, dude. I muted my mic. Come on, dude. Come on. And now you muted your mic, Aaron. You muted.
Did I?
So, yeah. There you go. Now you're back.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. We lost you for a second. You're good.
But you have to adapt. Once again, I'm not trying to go on a soapbox because T-Bob makes fun of me for being an old man and bitching about this day and age of players, but it's true. I want to have fun. I want Shane Beamer in my life. I want a guy that, is Ted Lasso that's going to tell me fun stories, pregame, postgame, give me a hug, give me a shoulder to cry on, go make me a bunch of money in NIL and I'm all happy, even though if we are a 8-4 football team. It's okay. I got a coach that I really like and enjoy being around. If you're an asshole and we're not a good team and there's no clear path for me to make it to the NFL because of you as a coach, I'm the hell out of there. Bye. I'll go hit the portal. So yeah, you got to change your tune a little bit, man. You got to adapt. The best coaches do it, or unless your name is Nick Saban or Kirby Smart.
How about this though? Will this save Michigan State? Mel Tucker released a set of NFTs this month called NFTux. You buy these, it gets you, probably
talk about being early to trends. Mel Tucker dropping NFTs in May 1st, 2023.
So once again, Brum absolutely nails it here, right? This shows that sometimes, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? Like sometimes you just get lucky. Mel Tucker read the market absolutely correctly on transfer portal. He has not read the market correctly on NFTs, which appear to be at an all-time low. Nobody gives a fuck about getting a shitty JPEG pixel art that, guess what? I have a picture of too, even though I didn't spend $50,000 on it. Yeah, sure. Okay. But I got the source code. Okay. And but yeah. So there's something timing. Deeply, exactly. There's something deeply troubling as you're timing. Already, you try to be like, no, Mel Tucker's got it, dude. I'm telling you, look at what he did a couple years ago. He's a smart guy. And then you debut NFTux when they're literally at their lowest point.
What does it give you access to? What's the utility? Do we know the utility?
It says Michigan State. Oh, I love NFTs talking about utility. What utility has any NFT ever given you? Nothing. Now, okay, I'm sorry. I know. Whatever. Look, the point is you probably get like a pixel art Michigan State thing. You get some behind the scenes access to the program. So that's utility right there, I guess. To be fair. That's cool. And this is actually great. All the proceeds from the NFT sales, it's not some NIL bullshit. It's going to support the boys and girls clubs of Southeastern Michigan. So that's a great deal, man. So you can at least feel like you're doing something.
He's a year late. He's still a year late.
He's a year late to the party. But he's doing something for a good cause. And if you are buying them, I guess you could tell yourself the utility is you're giving to the Boys and Girls Club and maybe you're getting access to the program. But that is deeply funny that NFTux debuted right as everybody wants him fired.
I wouldn't hate. Maybe he's setting the trend again. I mean, listen. I would not be a madman, as you know, if he does. He was a trendsetter with the transfer portal. If he's once again a trendsetter down a different area, maybe he just knows something that we don't know, and
I'll say this
to take off again.
I'll say this. I have watched the Bitcoin cycle, and I know these are not the same things, not 1-to-1, but I've watched the Bitcoin cycle for 20 years now, right? Where it's like it gets hot. Everybody loves it. It falls off. Oh, shit, it'll never work. And then it gets hot again, right? So I have no illusions. Like I fully expect the zeitgeist to happen once again and NFTs to heat back up. And I'm not trying to shit talk him too much, Aaron. I know you got some NFT shit going down. I don't know. I've thought about him a lot. I've read into him a lot. And from where I stand, I just don't think they're bringing much to the table for me right now. That said, my brain is broken. I'd buy Brian Kelly NFT.
Go Mel Tucker. Pixel art. Hey, Mel Tucker, I'm rooting for you, buddy. I'm rooting for you, buddy. You got it.
Yes.
Trendsetter Tuck. I'm about to go buy me one. Where is it on OpenSea? Where's it at?
NFTux, baby. I'm not sure if you Google NFTux, it should show up as to where you could buy it. Look, I got a crypto wallet. Okay, I've lost money in crypto like everybody else has too. So, anything else on Michigan State? Yeah, look, if you just go to SpartyNFT.com, you can go buy it now. Get your NFTux. Momentum is real. The future is now. NFTs for a cause. Also, I'm going to need to see the full breakdown of these finances. I don't want to be too big of a jerk here, but I kind of doubt that one. Okay, this says every dollar. This is every dollar right here. So they would get massive trouble. It's not true. It says every dollar raised for charity. Go get an NF Tuck today. Okay, so you know who probably doesn't miss Mel Tucker? Oh, and here's the other thing about Mel Tucker. Sorry. Brum pointed this out before the show. Luke Fickell's in there now. Matt Rule's in there. Chip Kelly and Lincoln Riley are coming. Like, Michigan State has to feel like they backed to the wrong horse here, right? It was a fever dream. It was COVID. They were feeling hot and heavy, and now they're kind of stuck with this guy who, look, it was an incredible one-night stand. Now they don't really know what to do. The more you get to know him, the more he kind of bugs you. Should have never moved in together that early. What were you thinking? It was just the dopamine was hitting so nice those first couple of days. But so you know who doesn't miss Mel Tucker? Colorado, because they got Coach Prime. And this all I'll say about Prime for today's show is that he's been promising these new faces. Some of them are a bit more interesting than others. They got Derek McClendon, the really good defensive tackle, had a breakout year last year for Florida State. He's awesome. They got a guy with at least name recognition in Cavassier Smoke. They got a bunch of guys, and there's plenty more coming. I don't know if there are going to be a bunch of guys that necessarily jump off the page, Aaron, but remember, you take over a 1-11 Colorado team. There weren't a bunch of guys that jumped off the page there at all. Here's a list. Here's a list of the schools, and this list is still growing, but here's a list of the schools that Colorado is bringing transfers in from, and I just want you to know, or I just want to really hammer home, just like this is the Coach Prime effect right here. Obviously, you got Jackson State on there. You got Kentucky. You got South Florida. You got Kent State. You got Missouri State. You got Florida. You got West Virginia. You got Dartmouth. You got Arkansas, Old Dominion, Florida State, Tennessee, Fresno State, Clemson, Alabama, Ole Miss, Arizona State, Louisville, and a bunch of these guys you're taking 2 or 3 players from. I mean, think about the breadth and width of the schools that we just talked about, Aaron. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong here, but I would be hard pressed to think that players transferring from these schools that they have personally handpicked and scouted would be worse options than the guys who are on the way out. So the national advertising effect of Coach Prime is very real.
Oh, it's definitely real. We know it'd be real. He's a guy that, I mean, he could walk into a living room of any top recruit and mom and dad know him and love him and probably want his autograph. And the kids are probably wanting his autograph. Like he goes through all boundaries of with the excitement that he brings. So I think it's just a start. You know, I don't want to feel like the past couple of weeks I've been salty on Prime at all, but I think he's just, I just want people to realize that this isn't he's not, and he doesn't want this either. It's not a bandage. He's not trying to put a bandage on Colorado. He's trying to build it the right way, which is why you saw the mass exodus a week ago after spring. Like, this isn't hey, I'm going to come in here and do a quick fix and go through the portal and do what we just talked about. He ain't trying to be Mel Tucker. He's not trying to come in here and just, here you go, Band-Aid, boom, all of a sudden we're all groovy. No. Like, I've been a part of a lot of programs my entire life, from college to the NFL to what I did at Jackson State. This is how I truly believe a roster should be built. And I want to start from ground zero and build this the right way. So, like, I'm not as concerned about year one. I know there's a lot of excitement for year one, as there should be, with all the ticket sales and the spring game and all that. I just want Colorado fans to know that regardless of what happens year one, we're all hoping for success. I love the story. I think he's a great coach. What he's building, I think you will really start to see it year 2, year 3, year 4, if he's there. So just strap in. I think he's doing a hell of a job.
I agree. And I'm going to be very interested to watch this list continue to grow. And one day, like when it's done, I think we are going to, it'll be one of the most fascinating, yet kind of like, I think if you're listening to Snaps, you'll probably give a damn because you like college football. I don't think it's going to have mass appeal, but just sitting there and looking at the Colorado roster from 2022 to whatever this finalized 23 roster is going to look like is going to be shocking. It is going to be truly jaw-dropping. As now they are down to – sorry, tried to mute my mic, muted my camera. Okay, I'm a disaster. They are down to 13 scholarship players from last year's roster. Again, I think this is better, but 13 players. Somebody
Do you want to go
said,
to a chat?
yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
Jimbo
You got what comment show about? Yeah.
Yeah, Jimbo Slice Bread said Sanders isn't a coach; he's a figurehead / entertainer. That's you. I said this months ago, but with today's game and the responsibilities for a head coach, that's honestly more coaches are going to be trending in that way. Of I'm going to hand over the X's and O's. My job, especially in NIL and the transfer portal, is to bring in opportunity or help bring in opportunities for kids. And you can't tell me that there aren't companies out there saying Colorado is in the news cycle and Colorado players are in the news cycle. Let me go give those kids money through NIL to help promote my brand. Like that is part of the game right now. And part of it's also bringing in money for facilities. He got Walmart to build a brand new facility for Jackson State. I mean,
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's the coach I want in today's game. I want a guy that can bring in money for facilities. I want a guy that creates enough buzz that my players get the trickle down effect of it so they get NIL deals and is willing to hire good OCDC and let those guys do their own thing and just have them go out there and recruit. Like that is today's game when it comes to coaching. And I think he is the definition of all that.
And what's kind of got it, that what is kind of wild, and Prime didn't take this path because he didn't have to, because what he did on the football field, but it is kind of crazy. If you're a coach now, you have to earn your way to that head job by like knowing scheme, right? And being a great X's and O's guy. And then you have to prove to do something completely different. Like you have to go from being a football only scheme guy to then all of a sudden you have to be a true like CEO of a major organization and company, right? And then eventually you have to delegate that scheme to others. Now Lincoln Riley's on the edge, right? He's still somehow straddling the boat, but even Ryan Day is starting to waffle from that. And Brian Hartline was on his tryout basically for play calling duties this spring. So maybe Hartline ends up getting it. But it is kind of coordinators to be head coaches is sometimes such a terrifying exercise, is that it's kind of a bad system really. And that you're asking for guys who came up doing one thing to do a completely different thing, and yet prove to be ultimately very successful at it.
Like organizational leadership in general, right?
Yeah. Yes. I've heard about this problem before. I don't know what it's called, bro, but it's like, okay, your top salesman deserves a promotion, but he's actually a super badass salesman, and like this other person who isn't as good at sales is actually better at managing people.
Yes, but we reward and pay managers more, and so we therefore promote good salesmen into being bad managers. It's called the Peter Principle.
Yep.
Oh, okay. There we go. Look at Brum. Brum's he's so like New York elitist smart.
So
sometimes
smart.
It's just crazy. It must be that.
It's just amazing.
Oh wait,
LSU education.
Okay. Speaking of, did y'all know that there was actually a Philadelphia Bulldogs? I forgot to mention this. Back in 1965, the Philadelphia Bulldogs were in the Continental Football League. They actually won the league title in 1966. They beat your boys, Aaron Murray, the Orlando Panthers. I know you're from Tampa, just roll with it. They beat the Orlando Panthers 20-17 in overtime. Their quarterback was Bob Broadhead. Who's Bob Broadhead? He would later go on to become LSU's athletic director. He would hire Skip Bertman, who would win 5 national championships in the 90s in baseball. He would hire Sue Gunter, who the LSU basketball court is now drama-filled, named after. Go to their first Final Four. And Bill Arnsberger brought an SC title home. How about that? The Philadelphia Eagles, Bob Broadhead, LSU, Skip Bertman. It's all
Philadelphia
connected.
Bulldogs.
It's all connected. What did I say, Eagles? Oh, my bad. Yes, Philadelphia Bulldogs. Yeah. Philadelphia Bulldogs. How about that? Crazy, dude. Crazy. What's up, dude? I used to like how the Two Life Stews used to do it, but it was more of a Q dog. It was a Q dog bark.
It sounds like something from the Mandalorian. What are those people that talk like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's the
Tusken Raiders.
Yes, Tusken Raiders.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm really excited to play some Jedi Fallen Survivor here. I'm probably going to wait a couple weeks. I've heard there's some bugs. What is this though, dude? I'm looking at ESPN article about the biggest impact transfer this spring. Craig Hobart says Tyler Buckner to Alabama. Fuck out of here, dude. I don't even care if he's a starting quarterback. Alabama's a 10-2 team no matter who plays quarterback. That's an awful pick in a world where Bear Alexander to USC exists. It's absolute insanity.
Or Sam Hartman, because, heartthrob.
Yeah. I wonder, is Sam Hartman, who was benefiting
Could you put a head coach? Can you put a head coach and a quarterback on the cover of GQ at once? I mean, can you do that?
Oh, God, that's a good point. That's a good point. Notre Dame may lose, but they'll look damn good while doing it. And then it's like them two like GQ'd up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wonder though, Aaron, do you think with Hartman, now that he's going to be out of the Jackie Chan drunken master style of the slow mesh, did the slow mesh make Hartman, or will Hartman benefit from being in a more traditional system?
Well, I don't think he's going to benefit from stat wise. I think, the stats he put up, they were pretty damn good. So I don't think he's going to go out there and match that just based on the system. So I think it was very mutual. I think Sam Hartman is a very talented quarterback. I think any quarterback would benefit from being in an extremely quarterback friendly system like Wake Forest runs. But I think he's a guy that I think has the skill set to push past that, similar to what we feel like with Hendon Hooker going to the NFL. There's guys that obviously you put them in the system will excel because they're great quarterbacks and the offense dictates it. But then those guys that also are just really good quarterbacks that may be a couple bumps in the road, but will still be pretty damn good when you put them in a new environment and a new offense. So I think he'll be just fine.
Blake Walters has a really good idea for a Colorado idea. Just take the two rosters, see what the average recruit ratings are between them, right? Like, what was the average star rating before and after? I think that will be great to look at. What else would be great to look at is our show tomorrow, because we're done for today. So, look, we love you very much. Huge thank you to everyone hanging out to the chat here every day. It was a very fun weekend. Glad to be back. Remember, subscribe to Snaps on your podcast, be it Apple, Spotify, whatever. Rate it, review it, please, y'all. That really helps. Like the post here at youtube.com/thevolume. And a massive thank you to our fearless producer, Ryan Brumley, Paul Farrington, Pat Gunner, Adam Gracia, Danny Cardenas. A thank you to you, Aaron Murray, and most of all, a thank you to everyone hanging out with us here in the chat. All the new faces. We love seeing new faces every single day here. We will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Snaps.